and welcome to the Big Apple Scroll podcast. My name is Sam.
I'm Reyno.
And today we're asking what's the crack about Fox versus Disney films. So we're going to look at some of the most recent and past Disney films and Marvel films from 20th Century Fox and Disney Marvel. Give our opinion on them, what we think of them, what we like, don't like, whether one studio is more successful than the other. You will have your opinion on that. A little bit about X-Men specific, because Reyno's a lover of X-Men, aren't you? Would you say lover of X-Men?
I don't know if I'm passionate about it, but I've watched them more than I have Avengers.
Okay, fair enough. And I watch both actually, and enjoy both, but to varying degree.
Yeah.
And we're going to look about the newer films as well and ask questions about those and who we would like to settle down superheroes wise. Maybe get round to that question too. We'll come to that. So, Reyno, don't be afraid. You can give me an honest answer. Do you know who makes the X-Men films?
I am
Deadpool,
still confused as to who has made which film or movie, as I prefer to say. So you can talk about films, I will talk about movies, although it's the same thing. I still don't know.
X-Men, Deadpool, Fantastic Four, and even the older Spider-Man films. And someone's going to correct me if I'm wrong. They are they're produced by 20th Century Fox.
Okay.
Or were. Because I'll come to that surprise later.
Okay, cool.
Have you heard anything about that?
No.
I just found out recently.
Surprised about what?
It's not so recent, but I just found out it's fairly recent. Well, we're on that topic.
Let's
Disney buy everything, right? They bought Star Wars. They bought. They bought the Avengers. They didn't originally have Marvel Studios. They bought Marvel Studios. They bought Star Wars. And now, most recently, I found out in March this year, they bought 20th Century Fox films. So,
goodness.
Yeah, so as I understand, the most recent X-Men film is not produced by Disney, but
the one which is showing now, Dark Phoenix.
Exactly, and New Mutants or whatever it's called. It's another. It's gonna be. It's kind of like an X-Men film, like maybe more like a horror angle. It's gonna be from 20th Century Fox Studio too, but from now on, I guess there's gonna be a change in that.
Okay.
So maybe for the better, maybe not. You might know the answer to this one. Who makes Marvel Avengers films?
Disney.
Yeah, so it's Disney Marvel. As I understand, not being an expert, but I understand it. I've heard a little bit on the grapevine, bits and pieces, watching reviewers on YouTube. And as I understand, Disney controls this and they own Marvel Studios. And so Marvel Studios makes the Avengers. And they're very much separate, or they were. But now I guess there's the possibility, I'm assuming, there's a possibility to see Wolverine and Captain America fight. Or something, if one
a little bit
of
a cross mix of Avengers, Marvel's X-Men Avengers avenging X-Men, something like that.
They could do a lot of things here, I guess, and maybe that's necessary to breathe a bit more freshness into it.
Maybe I would stop watching then.
Yeah,
yes.
It's too extreme.
I think it becomes too messy to get the stories in alignment. It's messy already.
Do you think there's a different tone between the different X-Men and Avengers?
For me, and for some of the people I've spoken with, and actually some of my students, Avengers has a more youth-like approach, more teenage fan base.
Yeah.
The X-Men, I think, is a little bit more grown up.
I would say so too. Yeah.
You would agree with me, okay?
It's a little bit more. I mean, it's still grown people acting as superheroes, but doing kinds of very imaginative and impossible stuff. But I think the themes and it's very cerebral, right?
Yeah. Cerebral. Yeah.
So, do you prefer? I think I know the answer to this.
I think you know the answer.
I think the listeners know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it. Mm-hmm. Do you prefer the X-Men and other Fox films like Deadpool, Fantastic Four? Well, maybe not Fantastic Four. Or do you prefer the Disney Marvel films like Avengers and?
Well, there's a bit of a problem because I really enjoyed Deadpool.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed Deadpool, but he's more of an anti-hero.
That's 20th Century Fox.
Okay, and Fantastic Four. Mm-hmm. I liked I think it's the 2005 version.
Right. The silly ones.
With Jessica Alba.
And do you know who was the, what's the character that goes on fire? Do you know who that was?
Oh, no.
Do you know who that actor was?
Who the actor was?
That's the same guy that plays Captain America.
No.
Chris
Evans. Hemsworth. Chris Evans.
Chris Evans. Played in Fantastic Four, yeah.
Okay. I'm okay.
Yeah. I mean that was before that stopped before he became Captain America.
Okay.
But yeah, that was one of his.
I enjoyed I only watched Fantastic Four and Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Right.
And those two I actually quite enjoyed. But if you ask me about Avengers versus X-Men movies, I will choose the X-Men movies all the time.
And why?
Well, I cannot say because they make more sense, because the timeline in the X-Men movies makes no sense. Whether you watch it chronologically or you watch it according to release date, actually, the X-Men movies, there are so many continuity errors.
Right.
But I think I prefer the characters. I think I prefer the connections. It's a little bit more serious. If I think
you feel more educated when you watch them.
I don't know if this qualifies as educated entertainment or educational entertainment. But when I watch Avengers, I often get a little bit bored.
Okay. Not enough depth in the plot, you mean?
Yes.
Right.
Unlike the character Iron Man. I must admit I quite enjoyed Iron Man.
His
Iron Man 1 and 2 I enjoyed very much.
Yeah.
But maybe because of the actor.
Yeah, he's a fantastic guy. He's fantastic. Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah. So, very long answer actually for a very short question. I'm sorry.
What is your favorite film? I guess it's an X-Men film, right? I mean, I'm talking a Marvel film or a superhero film. What's your favorite film? Excluding DC at the moment, right?
That is confusing for me, DC versus Marvel, because I'm not such a fanatic.
No.
So for me, I've landed myself into serious trouble having discussions with people, and they say, "Oh, that's not DC. This is Marvel." So I've ended up in trouble at times.
I'll be gentle with you.
So. X-Men, I would say the first ones.
Yeah, really? The 2000 ones?
Yeah, the older ones.
Really?
Wow. Oh yeah, I forget the actor's name, the bald guy. Patrick Stewart.
Oh, Patrick Stewart, right.
I prefer him as
honestly?
Xavier, yes.
Really? Right.
With the Wolverines and the...
You don't like the younger guy? Oh, James McAvoy?
James McAvoy, no.
You don't like him?
James McAvoy is a fantastic actor.
He is fantastic.
I do not enjoy how he portrays Xavier because he is very uncontrolled, out of control at times. His emotions are all over the place. His reactions are all over the place. And Patrick Stewart is very composed, very calm, very measured in his approaches to things.
Yeah, very much a mentor. And
yes, absolutely. So I cannot, I struggle very much with picturing James McAvoy as Xavier becoming Patrick Stewart.
And maybe that's
Xavier.
Not the actor's fault. It's maybe just, it's been written as a character that needs development to become that Patrick Stewart guy, right?
I'm hoping that somewhere they will do that.
In the 2000s, there were 3 X-Men films. And the third one is generally treated as, disappointing, let's say. Do you like it? It's got the Jean Grey going mental and killing a lot of people.
I actually did. I didn't necessarily like the story because it's dark. You somehow with superheroes, you want it to be... They always save the world,
She kills her friends. And,
she kills, she becomes
the superheroes.
very dark.
Yeah.
But I actually think it was quite a powerful film.
Yeah. You can say you like it if you want.
I said to you, I don't know if I liked it, but like for me is a strange word.
Yeah.
So I liked the fact that there was darkness in the story.
L-I-K-E. That's how. It shouldn't be strange to you.
It was dark, which is it's good because it brings a bit of a reality check to people.
Right.
You know, life isn't a superhero movie.
Right. Again, kind of a more grown up.
Maybe.
Tone to it.
Yeah, maybe.
Right.
So actually, the three together.
Yeah.
I do enjoy them. Yes, I would struggle to choose one of the three. I would choose them as a package.
Okay, fair enough. If you were to ask me, okay, so Fox or Disney, honestly, I like both. I agree with you that the X-Men films are more grown up, at least in tone anyway, in their cerebral nature. And I really quite like Days of Future Past. I think it's the second of the more modern ones. Am I right? Second one? Where they time travel and Wolverine.
Highly confusing. Yes.
Highly confusing. I liked these. I think I liked it most because it was science fiction, like showing the future and these machines. What are they called, those machines?
Those things that could smell the mutants and kill them.
Yeah.
Something like...
Someone will tell us.
Yeah.
But regardless, those machines there and in the future and the time traveling aspect, because I'm a lover of science fiction.
Almost like Terminators, but they weren't called Terminators. Almost something like that.
And I remember actually, maybe partly because I remember those from other things that I've watched, and I watched the cartoon when I was a boy. Have you ever seen the cartoons?
No, I didn't.
In the 90s, they made these X-Men cartoons. Wolverine was in a colorful blue and yellow suit and a mask on, or something around his head at least. And all the X-Men were, in their colorful suits and so on. But they were really well written and good cartoons.
I know why I didn't watch them.
Why is that?
I was already working. That's why I didn't watch them.
Fair enough. They made 5 seasons of them, and I know nothing about as far as whether they were true to the comics or not, but the stories were great in them. And they actually did the Dark Phoenix story, which is...
It's showing now.
They did that, which is showing now, and which is also the story the film that not sure if you like, the third of the older X-Men films, they also tried to do the Dark Phoenix story.
It's sort of Jean turning
Jean
dark.
Gets possessed by cosmic...
Don't spoil the movie because I'm going to see it tomorrow, please.
I haven't seen the film.
Excellent.
Jean gets possessed by like a cosmic force, which is a phoenix, and it's more power than she can control.
Okay.
And that's basically it. And I don't remember, but the cartoons seem to do it better than anything, to be honest.
It would be very interesting to understand where this fits in on the very peculiar X-Men timeline. Okay. What is your favorite X-Man and why? I think my favorite X-woman. May I?
Okay, you may.
I think is Storm.
Right. And why is that?
I like her abilities. I like the ability of controlling the elements.
Right.
So it's, in my opinion, stronger than any of the others. I don't care how many times Wolverine can regenerate, and if you can control the water, the air, the clouds, the volcanoes, that is pretty powerful. And how well she controls things. It's not...
She's quite grown up as well.
We go again. I mean, maybe it's my age. Maybe this is the problem.
You're only 30, aren't you?
30 plus a lot of that.
VAT. And who's your favorite Avenger, if you have one of those?
Iron Man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because of Robert Downey Jr.?
Because of Robert Downey Jr.
Right.
His sense of humor, the way he portrays the character, it is... I really enjoy it because it's not quite an anti-hero. It's not like Deadpool. It's not as seriously anti-hero as Deadpool is.
Right.
But there's enough of a bite in his character to make you think Actually, I don't like you at the moment.
Yeah.
But in a couple of minutes, you'll save the world again and we'll like you.
Do you know who his assistant is?
Pepper.
Pepper, what's her second name?
Oi. I know her real name is Gwyneth Paltrow, but I don't know what her...
Her second name is Potts.
Oh, yeah, Pepper Potts.
Just
Pepper,
like me.
Pot.
Just like me. I'm not sure that's
She related
claim
to
to fame or not. Well, it's not the actress, it's the... So it's the character, but Pepper Pot sounds a bit weird, doesn't it?
Pepper
like
pot.
Salt pot.
Like a salt and pepper pot.
Salt and pepper pot. I think, you know what, as regards to Iron Man and Robert Downey Jr., I think that he is the main reason why Marvel got popular. Because, I mean, until that first Iron Man film, 2008, they were still finding their feet before that.
Mm-hmm.
They'd made some fairly good films, but
what was made before that? Give me one or two names of movies before that.
Oh, now you're testing me. Well, I'm not
just one.
I'm not. I think Hulk. I'm sure.
Yes,
I'm sure
definitely.
Hulk,
yes, Hulk was before that.
I'm sure Hulk was made before
one
that.
of the 20 versions.
And I think maybe both of them were made before that. I'm not 100% sure.
I think you are correct.
I think Thor was before that.
I don't know.
Who else?
I agree with you. I think the popularity increased tremendously because of his acting there.
Whether it was him as an actor, I think it probably was, to be honest. But the Iron Man films are great. Well,
wait. Your characters.
Right. My favorite X-Man is Wolverine because he's dark. Because he's a kind of tough dude, but he suffers, and I guess I'm attracted to that kind of character. Not
pain in the world.
Pain and
suffering.
I like my superheroes to suffer.
Okay.
I like Batman.
Life can't be easy for them.
I like I like Wolverine. I like not Deadpool. I like Daredevil.
I never saw.
Not the film. I mean the TV show.
Okay.
Which is very good.
Okay.
It is very dark and adult, and you would like it, actually, I think. My favorite Avenger? I like the Hulk.
He also suffers. It's so difficult for him.
Yeah, but I think I like the Hulk mostly because I read a comic, and it's a very popular classic, I suppose, as far as comics go. Not in literature, but in comics. And it's called Planet Hulk. And it was fantastic from the perspective that they put him on another world, and they could do pretty much what they wanted. And that was great. And he fights all kinds of creatures and actually becomes like the king of this world. And then comes back to beat the crap out of the Avengers. Because they sent him there. Spoiler alert if you want to read those comics. But it's very good.
Spoiler alert was too late, by the way.
Too late. I have to get the hang of that. Spoiler alert. Who is your least favorite X-Man and why?
Again, I'm going to go for a woman. X-woman. Well, she's not really part of the X-Force, but she's in the X movies.
Right.
Is Mystique. Because she is just too confused about who she is.
Right. It's kind of
Then I'm good, then I'm bad, then I'm blue, then I'm not.
Maybe it's the writers that did that, but I get what you mean.
Magneto is also confused. Magneto also struggles with...
But he's always
I want to be
bad.
good or I want to be bad.
He's always kind of bad.
But he's a little bit more consistent, and he's maybe the character is a little bit better at expressing the darkness. When he goes dark, he goes really dark. He doesn't stop halfway.
Right.
Mystique, I don't know. Sometimes she's convinced not to. I don't know. She sometimes irritates me a little bit. I think maybe the bigger problem is I think she irritates me a little bit.
Maybe the continuity between films is the problem as well.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, because I think in the newer films she liked to switch side in the more modern, the first more modern film, and that irritated me a bit too actually, because she should have been, as far as I was concerned, and until that point she was good.
Yes, she was.
And then she suddenly changed. So who was my least favorite?
I'm waiting. We're talking about the blue lady, but
it's a tough one actually. I mean, I think I don't like the character. Oh, what's his name with the cards, with the poker cards. Now,
Ah,
what's his name? He's not really in the films.
no.
But the fact that he was in the film...
That's a very fast guy. It's
He can charge anything he touches and throw it. I cannot remember his name. Oh, for the life of me. But he is very good in the cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
But he was in the film played by Taylor Kitsch, I think, in one of the films. Just like a very short cameo for the character. And I just didn't like that scene, I suppose, was the issue. But the actual character is okay, but just in that scene, in that film, it didn't work. I didn't like it. I'm going to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and think,
that's
the name of that guy,
Yes.
right? Someone will write it below for us, won't they?
I hope so.
Their life depends on it. My least favorite Avenger. Oh, did I ask you who was yours?
No, but you go first this time. I would like to hear
my least
about...
favorite Avenger. Honestly, I'm not a fan of Black Widow. I don't think she belongs. Not because of her gender, but she doesn't have a lot to bring with superheroes. She's not a superheroine. And I mean, she does a lot of shooting and backflips and acrobatics, but that's it. It's not a superhero. And so it's not that I dislike her, but I think she's out of place there.
Okay.
What about
Very
you?
valid.
What about you?
Oy.
Least favorite?
Are we including things like Guardians of the Galaxy? Because they all actually become part of the Avengers.
They're now in the Avengers film, so I'll give you that.
Actually, if we have to look at just the Avengers, maybe Hulk.
Yeah. You're worried because I said that was my favorite.
No, not at all. But
why do you think so? Actually, you'll not offend me.
I'm not a big fan of Hulk. Yeah. Strangely enough, I like the movie about Hulk only. I enjoy it. Yes.
Well, now there were two. Which one are you talking about?
The one with
the older one,
the current actor. The
Oh, hang on. There wasn't a standalone with the current actor.
I think there was.
There was an older one, 2004, 2008, maybe, or 2007. There were two, but the current actor never did a standalone film. If I'm correct.
Okay. I'm not a big fan of Hulk. I really am not a big fan of Hulk. Yeah. And then the Spider-Mans.
Right.
I don't enjoy them. I never have. I never watched the standalone movies. I don't enjoy. And particularly now in Avengers, especially now towards the end with this little young guy who is acting as
Tom Holland.
Yeah, right. Tobey Maguire was good. Yeah, I can say that Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man was good.
I do think he was good. Although maybe rewatching them too often. I think a lot of people say that the third one was terrible. I didn't think it was terrible. I enjoyed it, but it was a bit cluttered. The newer one, the ones that came, there have been so many. I think the problem for me, and I do have a problem with Spider-Man a little bit, is that there are too many now.
Too many, and
make them so often.
And in Avengers now, he is very immature.
Yeah, but that is Spider-Man.
Mr. Stark.
That irritates me. That is more like Spider-Man, to be honest, because the other, he's supposed to be in school.
Yeah, I understand.
From the TV, from the comics and the cartoons, he's supposed to be in school. So that's probably more true to the comics and stuff. But maybe they can keep him in school, but have him a little bit more grown up. I don't know.
His reactions are very, very childlike for me. I think that's what bothers me the most.
You just don't like children, Reno?
You cannot say that.
What are the better films? So you've got the 20th Century Fox, X-Men stuff, and Deadpool, and we'll not speak of Fantastic Four. We'll put that away.
You don't even have to mention that. I prefer them.
Yeah,
I prefer
compared to the Avengers. Yeah, and you kind of said why, I guess. Already.
Yeah, again, a little bit more continuity in the characters. Right. A little bit more depth to the characters.
But I'm gonna fight you here.
You please do, but
because in I think you can agree with me that generally speaking, the Avengers are more popular. They're
Absolutely. I would agree with that.
People are going to the the cinema to watch those films, and they're excited about them. And when it comes to the X-Men, they're like, maybe I'll watch that. Maybe.
I agree with you. I think it almost is. I'm sure it's not true, but it's almost like the Avengers are bigger budget movies. The special effects are better. The CGI is better. The explosions are bigger. The superheroes are faster.
Because they're more popular. They can afford to do that.
Yes, I think that is.
Or is it because they're owned by Disney?
Well, there's a lot of money to do exactly what they want.
Money. Mickey Mouse is not poor.
Absolutely. Mickey Mouse is also how many years old? 100 and something.
Older than me.
He's older than the both of us. So I completely agree with you about popularity, but that doesn't mean the films are better.
But for you, the X-Men are more cerebral, more grown
more
up.
thinking, but more of a storyline and a history.
But they're confusing.
Incredibly confusing.
Even you agree that.
I've already said, I sometimes think that one of the reviews I read said you need to take some serious brain adjusters, antidepressants or something to understand the timeline. Because even then, I have really watched them in release order.
Yeah.
I've watched them in supposed chronological order.
Were you making notes?
You cannot even make notes. It is that confusing sometimes. Inconsistencies and things.
I mean, the 2001s and the older one, the younger ones, more modern. I consider that a reboot. I mean, wouldn't you agree that they're not supposed to be connected?
It's almost like they are redeveloping them.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, like there will be a remake of the old X-Men movies we see now to fit more with the current characters and portrayal of the superheroes.
Different actors for the most part.
Yeah.
I suppose maybe that's what makes it confusing too, because they capped some of the old characters, didn't they? At least Patrick Stewart and
Wolverine.
Yes, but the guy. Oh, what's his name? You're gonna kill me. Gandalf. What's his name? I should know.
Ian McKellen.
Ian McKellen. Fantastic guy.
Sir Ian McKellen, isn't it?
Sir Ian McKellen. Yeah. That's correct. You have to salute him or whatever, But
Sir.
He is fantastic.
But he is just a fantastic actor.
And Patrick Stewart is also. Is he a Sir too? No. He's
no. Patrick Stewart is not.
But he's fantastic as well.
He's very good. He's from Star Trek.
Yeah, absolutely.
Old Star Trek.
Absolutely, and fantastic there as well.
Yep.
I would also argue that critically, I'm going to argue for Avengers that critically, they're better regarded. They've hardly made a mistake as far as the critics are concerned, except for maybe...
You're talking about continuity and timelines and where stories should match up and things.
That's interesting. Built up over how many years? Over more than 10 years to get to the final Avengers films.
I really enjoyed the Avengers films, the Iron Mans, etc. I haven't watched many, I call them side movies, the standalone little Black Panther movie and the standalone... So I haven't watched many of those.
Some of them are really worth watching.
I think
like
so.
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel I did watch, and that actually was very good.
Yeah, I liked it.
I think what bothered me, I have not seen Avengers Endgame. Right. Because unfortunately it wasn't shown in English, so I have to wait for the English version. But I saw Infinity War, the previous one.
I haven't seen Endgame either, I have to confess.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, maybe we should stop the podcast now.
No, we should not. We should just find the English version, that's all. But in the Infinity War movie, I was very irritated.
Right.
There were too many superheroes.
Too much going on.
Yeah. Maybe too much going on.
Do you think it was because you weren't watching the side films?
Yes. So
you're like, who the heck is that?
Who are you?
Yeah.
Why are you?
Let's pause it, right? Ask someone in the cinema.
You not even... No, it really is what happened. I went to see it with a couple of friends.
Because they would say...
They were irritated with me. I would say, who's that? Who's that? Who's that? And they eventually said, shut up. You should watch the movies.
Right.
So I found that very irritating.
Well, that for Disney would be a plus because they'll be saying, you need to watch our
all the other films. Absolutely.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either because I think what put my wife and I off was the 3-hour length.
Okay.
Because it's quite long. As far as Infinity War,
You never saw Titanic?
I watched it in the cinema.
Exactly, that was 3
with
hours.
my parents. Well, I mean, yeah, but my wife. Well, I think it was mostly my wife wasn't keen on sitting for 3 hours.
Okay,
and,
cool.
No, and yeah, I wouldn't go alone, you know. And but I will watch it. We will watch it later. It's not an immediate concern for me.
It is much more comfortable to watch it at home. For me, I still prefer sometimes sitting at home on the couch with
I agree with you.
a glass of
a little bit
fruit
of
juice
cinnamon,
or whatever you want.
A little bit of cinema is okay, but yeah, I think at home is much more comfortable, simple. The Dark Phoenix film, then you haven't seen it?
Going tomorrow.
Okay.
So
And
very.
I haven't seen it.
You also haven't seen it.
But I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna spoil it. You're still gonna go tomorrow, right? No matter what I say.
Don't think I want to. Yeah, I'll close my ears.
No, I'm not gonna say a spoiler. I'm just gonna say that I have listened to a couple of reviewers, and they have not liked it.
Yeah, that I've also
all.
read. Yeah, I've also read that it's. They said
It's not got a good review.
Yeah.
It's not critically appraised. Whereas I would argue if Avengers Endgame has been, but so success-wise, I mean, as far as the critics go,
it's Avengers.
Yep. And as for me personally, what I would like to watch, I like both of them. You prefer the
I
X-Men.
selectively like
both
Avengers.
of them.
Yeah, I prefer to watch X-Men.
Well, I guess we can. I mean, if we wanted to conclude it, we could say that the Avengers are critically successful by far.
For a younger generation.
But if you're willing to put up with some head racking and you want a more cerebral film, you can watch the X-Men. And I like it. I like the style of them. I mean, they're much more stylized, especially the more modern ones. So they've got that going for them. So in conclusion, which two superheroes would you like to see settle down and have a family? Little superhero children.
I have two answers here for you. I thought about this and I thought maybe Magneto and Mystique, because they can call their children M&Ms. So
that's a good idea.
But seriously,
peanut M&Ms?
Peanut. One could be peanut. The one could be short grain bread. The one could be raisin M&Ms. Seriously, it's time for Tony Stark to marry Pepper Potts.
Right.
It really is time for the two of them.
You got to put a ring on it.
Exactly. Exactly. And what do you think?
So I would never marry. I would never marry off Batman, although him and Catwoman are always, romantic undertones. But you can't have Batman married.
No.
So I'm going for Wolverine because he's suffered enough. Even though I like him.
You like the suffering. You want his suffering to end.
But I like to see him married, and he has been. I think he has been married.
He has been married, and he's in the movies on his. Well, not married, but very settled with
right. But especially in the cartoon, I think in the earlier films too. I mean, he was really into Jean Grey.
Yes, and they were very connected.
Get them two married. Have
She's
kids.
Gone. She's gone.
Oh, that actress, you mean?
No, but she's dead. I mean, she died in the third one.
Yeah, but Dark Phoenix, you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, well, it's not. But it's not. It won't be the same actress.
Maybe, yeah.
That actress was phenomenal in the first X-Men movies.
Yeah, I'm not even going to try and pronounce her name. But I would have.
Can you remember?
No, I'm not even going to. It begins with J. Her first name, and I'm not even going to try. But Wolverine and Jean Grey, I think, because he deserves it. She needs it because she's going to turn into the Phoenix if she doesn't. So,
and their connection was palpable. It was tangible. You could every time they. Maybe it's because of the two actors as well. It was incredible.
We need little baby Wolverines who can suffer.
No, please not.
So, anything else you want to say?
No.
That was the crack about Fox versus Disney films. We talked quite a bit about specifically the X-Men films, the Marvel Avengers films, which characters we liked and don't like, the newer films, what we think will happen, or our opinions on those. and who would like to settle down. So that was the crack about Fox versus Disney films.